Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at a very cool blade. This is the Spyderco Manix 2 XL. First impressions, this is just such an ergonomic knife. Holy smokes. This knife just falls in your hand and you are locked in, because this is the XL version, so like it actually has a longer lengthened longer lengthened handle, and it kind of curves out towards, kind of like the Cold Steel Spartan or something like that. It really kind of locks you in both ways. It is almost tactical blade oriented, you know, for police officers, military, all that kind of thing. All that kind of stuff. Okay, let's look at blade steel. Blade steel is CPM S30V. And Spyderco is known for doing an awfully pretty adequate job at their S30V. And okay, based on how I've used the steel, it is not my favorite. It's not my favorite, but it's well done. It's very well done. The heat treat is very good. It will sharpen back up fairly quickly. Not as fast, I've noticed, as like S35VN. I've noticed S35VN's a lot more easy to sharpen than S30V. That's based on what I've done. But yeah, they do a great job on their S30V. It's very good stainless steel. It's fairly I mean, I've had this knife wet and everything, and it just hasn't rust or anything like that. It's held an edge for a fairly long time. It's not going to dull quick or anything like that, but it's not going to hold an edge like 20 CV or anything like that. Very good, well-rounded steel, and Spyderco does a phenomenal job at it. Okay, let's look at the handles. Handles are black G10 handles. Spyderco does, I think, the best G10 handles. They do such a phenomenal job on their handles. It's not too rough, but it's just, a lot of YouTubers say it's just rough enough, and I have to agree with that. It is just rough enough. So it's perfect, because if you notice, there's almost like a grid pattern on the G10. Like when you get a knife or whatever, the G10 is always like a grid pattern, and their grid pattern's it's very small, very precise. This knife is very precise. When I first got it, I noticed the lines and everything perfectly flush. Everything's polished. Even the DLC coating that they use, perfectly polished. Like even the pivot, this part, that's even polished. Focus that. This is even polished, you know, and just such a great looking blade too. Phenomenal knife. It is large. It has a 3.8 inch cutting edge, and I mean that's basically 4 inches. You know, it's a big blade. It's a big blade. It comes in at 5.2 ounces, so it's a hefty weight. But I like to carry bigger knives. I don't mind the weight. I like the weight. I think it's very distributed evenly. Let's look in here. It actually has skeletonized liners inside. I don't know if you can see that. There is fully skeletonized liners inside the blade. You see the grid, almost like grid pattern in there. And you really realize how well of a job Spyderco does at their attention to detail. Even like the jimping, if you look how small and how precise the teeth are on the jimping, done such a great job that you lock in perfectly. Like I move my thumb back and forth and it's not going anywhere. It is locked in on those teeth. Same with the choil. This knife is notorious for knowing about, or for having jimping everywhere, like almost like the Benchmade Contigo, but not as bad. Not as bad. I do not care for the Benchmade Contigo. Too much jimping. G10's too rough. I mean, that's crazy. Coming from a Cold Steel fan, G10's too rough for the Contigo. I did not care for the Contigo. Anyway, This knife is not like that. It has jimping all throughout the knife. I don't know if you can see that, but there is smaller jimping here, as well as obviously the finger choil. And the jimping comes to the thumb ramp, and the larger jimping that you can find here on the palm swell of the knife is also here on the spine of the handle. This is actually the cage lock, ball cage lock. It actually has a ball bearing that holds in the blade. It kind of wedges itself in the blade where there's actually a cutout in the knife, in the blade right there. And this spring, very strong, sturdy spring, it shoots the ball bearing in this cage into the rear part of the knife, and it locks it in. I was kind of like, I don't know if I trusted it when I first got it. I'm like, is that really going to be as tough? Because I came from triad locks, you know. Obviously, those are like super tough, so I wasn't for sure how much I would trust it. Because, you know, I never had an axis lock, I never had a bench made before this. And I wasn't for sure on it. You know, I did a lot of blade forums, watched a lot of videos, and everyone was like, this is super sturdy. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to try it for myself. And cut a whole bunch of stuff with it. Oh my gosh, it's so sturdy. It's perfect lock. I love it. Works just like an axis lock, but it's not an axis lock because it's so much different inside. And the action is phenomenal. I love the action on this. It's so buttery smooth. Broken beautifully. I've had this for probably about a year actually now. It's probably been a year I've had this. I love it. I love this knife so much. Now, a lot of people do get those lynch clips, those Spyderco aftermarket titanium lynch clips. They're phenomenal looking. I think they look beautiful. This is a Spyderco standard spoon clip. It's okay. For the ergonomics, you do feel it. You do feel it here in this grip right here. You feel the spoon part come up and kind of affect the comfort of it. But it definitely isn't like, you know, it's not annoying. It's not like super uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, I don't want to use this. No, you can definitely go down and bear down on some hard material. It's not going to really like hurt your hand or anything, but you can definitely feel it. I think that's why people get the lynch clips, as well as obviously deep carry, because this is not deep carry at all. Like, look how much sticks out of your pocket. That's a pretty big amount of material. But given this is for tactical use and everything like that, it is law enforcement, you know, military, that kind of thing, oriented, because it's a bigger size of the Manix. Interesting enough, this is the Manix 2XL, and this is actually the old size of the original Manix that Spyderco came out with a while ago, and actually had a back lock and everything like that. And they scaled it down because, you know, it's a big knife, heavy, big. It wasn't milled like this, you know. So they basically made a rendition of the original Manix and made it the XL. It definitely is an XL knife. It's big. Let's do a few size comparisons. Let's see. Let's pull out the Recon one. So you guys know the Recon one's a very popular blade. Now this would be a good like knife battle. You know, like these two are actually fairly unique, and they also are similar in their own ways due to like size, you know, all that kind of stuff. Cutting performance actually. Anyway, this is very close in size actually. This actually has probably less than half of an inch extra because this is a full 4 inches. That doesn't make any sense. This has a bigger blade. This has a 3.8 inch cutting edge. This is a full 4 inch cutting edge. That's why you see the difference. The handles. Let's look at the handles. Recon 1 also has longer handles. It's a big knife. Look, guys, this is a massive knife. Recon 1 really fills out your hand. Not the way this knife does though. This knife really just locks you in beautifully. I have never found another knife that had this kind of ergonomics. I've held tons of Benchmades, tons of ZTs, Spydercos, but this knife in particular, the XL Manix 2 is my favorite. I love it. I love the way it looks. It's not, a lot of the Spydercos have those thumb ramps, like the crazy, like the military 2, paramilitary 2, military, para 3. As common as those knives are, they're not very cool looking, you know? People mod them all the time to make them look cool. I understand that's really cool to get like titanium scales and all that. But I just think aesthetically, this knife is a lot better, a lot more pleasing to the eye than those other ones. Because it's more of that neutral looking knife where it kind of slopes down. Because it is a leaf-shaped blade. It's almost like symmetrical in a sense. I just like that. I don't like a big old, because then it looks like a bird, you know? No pun intended, Spyderco bird. Yeah. I am going to get my hands on the Native Chief, I think. I do like that. I like the bigger Spydercos. I really enjoy them because, well, I mean, when you have that leaf-shaped blade and it's bigger than like the Native or whatever like that, it's such a much better performer because you have that full leaf shape, full flat grind, beautiful grind. It is strong enough to, you know, go through hard materials. It's full flat, like perfect for like cooking, anything like that, you know, camping or whatever. Just a great, perfect all-around user, I've noticed. It does a great job, just flies through cardboard or anything like that. I have not used it for food prep, but I have used it for like working outside or whatever, and it does a great job. Very sturdy. I like the heft of it because it has those full milled out steel liners. It's got a beautiful weight to it. It's very balanced. It feels a lot lighter than, you know, like the Recon one. This is a lot more, like when you hold it as in the closed position, it's a lot more heavier than this knife, given that it has milled steel liners. Funny enough, this actually has no liners, and this feels a lot heavier than this one. I think this is actually 5.5 ounces, and this is 5.2, so it is a little lighter. But yeah, great knife. It is made in USA, which is a beautiful thing. Made in USA, Golden, Colorado. Designed by Eric Glesser. Great knife designer. And former, like, now he's the CEO of Spyderco, which is pretty cool. Well, he's been the CEO for a while, the owner now. But anyway, yeah, great knife. Very sturdy. It's held up to everything. Okay, their DLC coating is phenomenal. I've noticed the Spyderco DLC coating is so good. Let's look at, let's see the Recon one again. So they both have very good DLC coatings, but I prefer this one because it's more of like a matte DLC coating, while this is more of like a polished. See all those fingerprints? You know, perfect for a crime scene. If someone used this in a crime scene, like, oh my gosh, they'd catch the guy immediately because all the fingerprints are all over it. But this is more of like a matte. I think it's really cool. More of a matte coloration in the DLC. Yeah. It's almost like the DLC coating is almost like a ZT's. This is the ZT 0055 BLK is the sprint one. Fairly similar. This one was more of like a bronze matte DLC, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think I prefer this one the most, just because it is like zero shine, zero reflectivity or anything like that, and it holds up great. Yeah, man, such a great, well-rounded. I EDC it. It's a bigger knife. I EDC it. I don't care about the weight. I prefer it actually. Highly recommend it. 10 out of 10 all the way. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe below. I will link up another video over here so that you can watch the next video. Thank you.